Okay, so my clock here in Berlin says it's like 6:03. How about you guys? Same time?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then we're going to start. For the ones who are not here, they can come in anyway, so nobody's going to miss out. Okay. So first of all, thank you all very much that you're here, because obviously it's really warm outside in Germany, and we're really grateful that you actually managed to stay in front of the computer for us. We promise it won't be boring. So first, to give you a little introduction, what's going to happen now. So first, of course, you get to know all of those 4 faces. And then we'll dig into what Spotlight Network is, what Spotlight actually is. We tell you a little bit how this whole process from applying to a Spotlight job on StagePool to actually receiving your application from a caster's point of view on Spotlight looks like. I think this is the most interesting part for you all there. And after that, of course, we will answer your questions. You see on your screen down there, there's a little button called F&A, so Fragen und Antworten, if you like. So you can just type it in there. We will have a look near the end of this webinar. For you, just that you know, we will be ending really sharply in 1 hour. So yeah, we try to get in everything, but don't worry, this webinar will be coming up in a couple of weeks again. So you can join us again. Okay, since I was talking now, and you probably don't have a clue who I am, I will start with the introduction. My name is Ariane, and I'm working here at StagePool. I'm also an actress, but for this here now, I am working at StagePool with the casting directors and the production companies. So basically what I do, my responsibility is to publish the jobs, to find the jobs, and to help the casting directors to find the really good people for their projects. So this is mainly what I do. And besides, I do a little social media here at StagePool. And I would pass on to you, Anna, if you may.
Yes. Hello and welcome everybody, also from Sweden and Norway, Scandinavia. It's so sunny here as well. So really appreciate that you're here. I am Anna Blixt. I am the founder of StagePool, and I've been working with this since the last 20 years, actually. So yes, I will also pass the word forward to Emma, and welcome. Hello, Britain.
Hello, everyone. This is very Eurovision.
Yes,
hello from Central London. I'm actually at Spotlight HQ. Very excited to be here. I work in the membership department. Before joining Spotlight, I trained as an actor. I went to drama school many years ago. After working for various arts organisations, I became an agent in Central London. And you know, that is pretty much my sort of industry experience, you know, that relationship between agent and actor. Since leaving agent work, I've now been at Spotlight for, this is my 10th year. So I'm in the membership team, and I align myself very strongly with our graduates, our graduate membership. So I go into the drama schools and I tell them about Spotlight and the industry. And I also lead the team who do our career advisory sessions. I kind of vet all the applications. I'm part of the team that kind of looks at all of the actors who wish to join Spotlight. And I do a lot of kind of industry talking for a lot of our events, which are available to all our members. Over to you, Gary.
Yeah, I'm Gary Broughton. I work alongside Emma at Spotlight. I'm head of business development, which basically means that I do a lot of work with casting directors and agents across Europe, explaining to them Spotlight and how they can use Spotlight to find the best European performers. So promoting the use of our system and how to do that to find new people for their projects, and exactly how to use the system to put out their casting briefs and to search for actors. I also have been at Spotlight for just over 10 years now, and 2 or 3 years ago, no, it was actually about 3 years ago now, we set up Spotlight Network, and I worked with Anna and with Magnus at StagePool to launch Spotlight Network then. And it's been really good to see it grow and to become the biggest that it's ever been. Lots of jobs flowing through the service, lots of opportunities for actors, and lots more to come, I think, as we move out of the sort of COVID world and into a little bit more freedom in our lives.
Yes, thank you. That actually sounded like the last speech, you know, freedom in our lives. Let's go, bye, enjoy the sun.
I'm very
But
good
no.
at that. I'm very good at that speech. I've done it a few times. Normally
Very
wrong, but it's gonna be
perfect.
right sometime.
But anyway, it's also a good start. So maybe we can dig in a little more into Spotlight history. So I'm not sure who of you guys would like to answer, but maybe you could tell us a little more about Spotlight. Like, since when do you exist? What is it exactly Spotlight offers, and to whom? And perhaps you could name some of the projects that you've been involved with. Maybe not the last year, because last year was not the biggest, but the years before and this year. Whoever likes, Gary or Em.
Sure, I'll take this one. So Spotlight began in 1927. So I think if I get my history right, it's about the time of the speaking movies. So it was a very interesting, fertile time, so it would seem. And back then we were a publishing company, and we have wonderful quotes from the likes of Alfred Hitchcock, who used to use Spotlight to find the right actors for you know, the right jobs, the best actors for the right jobs. So back then in the day, this little pamphlet contained an actor's headshot and their contact details, and included into those very early pamphlets were the like of Laurence Olivier, Vivian Leigh. And the heritage of what Spotlight has always done is for industry professionals to find professional performers who either have trained or have the professional credit. So unlike other casting platforms, we do have a vetting criteria, and I think we're one of the only casting platforms that does have a very robust vetting criteria, so that the casting professionals that use us have that guarantee that they are working with the best actors that they can find. So we have 3 core membership groups. We have obviously the performer, who are the biggest membership group that we have, and then we have the agents and the casting directors, and it really just glues everything together. You know, Spotlight's kind of tagline is the home of casting, and it's where all the best casting directors find all the best talent to put into all of the projects that are cast through the Spotlight system. So we're a casting platform, and yeah, our heritage has been just that.
Perfect. But one more question, because just that, you know, Gary and like in this webinar, all the viewers, they are also, some of them are already like a Spotlight Network member, but some of them are not, but they are professionals. So you're talking about casting platform. Is it only for actors, or do musical performers also can be a part of this?
We have young performers, we have dancers, we have presenters, and across all of that, you know, I very much consider musical theatre performers as actors first and foremost. Mm-hmm. But yes, we have a lot of musical theatre performers that are on the database, and a lot of musical theatre work all around the West End is cast via Spotlight. So yes, we're a broad church of the performers who are on the database.
Perfect. Yeah, I just saw that. I actually got a breakdown in from you. I think it was yesterday for West End musical in theaters. So that was really cool. And we got already some applications for that. But just for you guys that, you know, so you need to be professional in your profession, but then you actually could be a match for Spotlight Network anyway, just that you know that. Then Gary, perhaps, I mean, you have, we are talking about Spotlight and Spotlight Network. Perhaps you could tell us the difference here. Maybe for some people it's not clear.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we set up Spotlight Network, as I said, about 3 years ago now, and we did that specifically to address a need within our industry at that time, and you know, and ever since. Really, there's been a huge amount of interest from casting directors and producers working in the English language and in English projects, both here and in the US, and they're very interested in Scandinavian actors, European actors, Northern European actors particularly, and we felt that we should do something to be able to link the casting directors to those actors, and give those actors a variation of the Spotlight membership, which really suits their needs. So, you know, full Spotlight membership is something which, as you know, comes with various benefits. There's lots of events and there's support that we do for our members, and lots of roles go through our system for full Spotlight members. Then Spotlight Network is a variation which, as I say, is really targeted towards actors who are in the StagePool countries, so the German-speaking countries of Europe and Scandinavia, and it offers special tools for those performers to be able to put their profile onto Spotlight and to receive the breakdowns, to receive the roles, which are from casting directors who really want to recruit actors from those countries and who are really interested in looking at those countries for their project. So, for instance, like the difference then between full Spotlight membership and Spotlight Network membership should be seen as Spotlight Network membership is a sort of subset of full Spotlight membership, but really targeted towards actors who are based outside of the UK. They're based in Northern Europe, or they're based in German-speaking Europe. They want to stay there, but they want to promote themselves to roles which are going out on Spotlight, where the casting director, as I say, really wants to target performers and look for actors and performers in those countries. So, for instance, what it doesn't have within Spotlight Network membership is access to some of the events and the support that we run for our UK members. You know, there's lots of stuff which in ordinary times we do in London and we do around Britain and we do in Ireland as well. And that stuff is probably less relevant to Spotlight Network members. So Spotlight Network members benefit from a slightly different set of benefits, and they have access to events and to content which we make in partnership with StagePool, and which we do either in Berlin or Stockholm, or we do it online, but very much targeted towards that base. Now, also there are the jobs which when casting directors put their roles together and they put their briefs together, they can choose to send those briefs out to all full Spotlight members. And so a lot of those briefs will be for British work, which, you know, for which you should really be based in the UK, or be ideal for those members who are based in the UK. But for Spotlight Network members, there's a distribution option. So casting directors can specifically choose to send those roles onto Spotlight Network members, in the knowledge that those members are based in Scandinavia and the German-speaking countries, and, you know, the role is very, very relevant to those performers. And so, you know what, as I say, there's slightly different things, and Spotlight Network membership is really a sort of subset, a slightly reduced set of full Spotlight benefits, but it's really targeted towards the performers in those countries. And as such, Spotlight Network membership is priced at a lower level than full Spotlight membership. I mean, obviously performers within the German-speaking countries and European countries are very welcome to join full Spotlight, and for those who really want the full kind of Spotlight experience and who can get to Britain and sort of want to look at all the roles which are sent out across our network, full Spotlight network, a full Spotlight membership is available to those performers. But for those who want to be based, you know, stay based within their own country and want to primarily work within their own language, but just want to be able to promote themselves for those occasions when casting directors really want to find performers in their country, that's really what Spotlight Network membership is aimed at. Because Spotlight Network membership is obviously a bolt-on, is an addition to StagePool membership. So those performers are getting all the opportunities across the StagePool network, but on top of that, selected opportunities from Spotlight as well.
Yes.
And just wanted to add also, Gary, that you don't only get the breakdowns, because you're also, as a Spotlight Network member, you're also searchable in the Spotlight directory, so that caster can look for you in the directory, just so you know.
Yeah, absolutely. They can search for you by name, or they can search for you within the category of Spotlight Network members. Yeah, absolutely.
That's perfect. Anna, maybe since you just grabbed the word, could you tell us, like, really, like, in detail, how much are the costs if the ones who are not Spotlight Network members yet decide they would like to join via StagePool?
Yes. First of all, you have to be a certified pro subscriber, which Emma also told you about, that we are also doing this vetting process. And then you have to have at least 2 years of education, or 2 to 3 years, and then you experience, so that you can be vetted as a professional. After that, you get this pro stamp with StagePool, which is not cost anything more than the StagePool membership. And then you can also then add on the Spotlight Network membership, which costs 80 euros or 80 crowns per month. And you can also just sign up, and it will then follow your StagePool membership. But you can also I think it's one calendar month subscription that it adds on every month, but you can also cancel it apart from your StagePool membership. But it's really, really good to just you can go into the StagePool site and just look at our memberships and about StagePool, and then you find all the information that you need. But it's really important that you are a professional actor or performer.
Yeah, like in this webinar, we only invited you guys who are pros. So
yes.
I think this is something we already have as a base here. But if you have questions, of course, you can always contact the customer service in your country also, right? Yeah. They're always there for you, or the profile coaches, just that you know. Before we go into the system and do a little screen sharing here, I have one more question to Gary and I mean, what would you say are, I mean, you said it a little already, but what are you, in key points, maybe bullet points, what are the benefits for becoming a Spotlight Network member through StagePool?
Shall I answer that one, Em?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the key benefits are that you have your profile on Spotlight, which is searchable by casting directors who use the Spotlight system. So that's casting directors across the English-speaking world, in the UK, the US, elsewhere, and European casting directors as well. So you have your profile, you'll receive roles which come from casting directors when they're specifically looking for people with the language skills or in the location where you are. And you'll receive support which is customized for you as a performer who is, you know, a Spotlight member but is based outside of the UK and who's also a member of StagePool. So the kinds of career advice and events that we're doing like this today, and hopefully in person again soon, will be available to you as well.
Okay, perfect. Then we have this. I just read like people have difficulties to hear us. You can change the audio settings. Actually, try that out a little. I think one person is it. Try also with your computer to change like how you listen to, you know, because if you had a device and before like earplugs or anything, you need probably manually change that somehow. Just that you know. Okay, but now we go back actually to what we wanted to talk about. What we'll do now is I will start in sharing my screen and show you how the application process on the StagePool side functions, and then we'll pass over to Gary and who show you how you appear on this Spotlight surface. Okay, let me share the right screen. That is very important. Yes, so now you guys, I just chose myself here due to, of course, personal data reasons, etc. So it's me, as you can see here as an example. So this is your CV you have on StagePool.
We don't see, Ari.
No?
No.
Why not? But now you see.
Now we see.
Perfect. Now you see. So this is your CV. Well, basically, this is my CV, but this is your CV, of course. And what Anna just said was, when you get verified a pro, you have this here. And when you belong to Spotlight Network, you will have this button over here. So this is how it looks for you, just that you know. Okay, when you want to see the Spotlight breakdown jobs, you go into your matching jobs, of course. And just for the ones who are already a member of Spotlight Network, you know how it works. It's the usual way. For the ones who are not yet, this might be new to you because all the casting breakdowns we receive from Spotlight, they're really, really high confidential and nothing to spread the world with, of course. So we don't publish in public what we are looking for. You only see a really general title. But of course, if you are a Spotlight Network member, you need to know what you're going to apply to. You see everything. Yeah, just for the ones who haven't seen that before. So let's say I am interested in this job. So of course I would read through first. We don't do that now, but this is really important. Don't do blind application. The StagePool system works in the Spotlight Network system the same way. So you get the job matched by your playing age, by your gender and your profession. But sometimes casting directors request a little more. So please really read carefully and only apply if everything suits your profile. And then I say yes. that's me, definitely. So what's also really, really kind, if you write short introduction, you know, just maybe 3 lines, nothing really big, just tell a little about yourself. You don't need to refer to other websites. You don't need to say again your age or what you did, because all these casters have access to your StagePool CV, and then therefore, of course, to the Spotlight CV on the Spotlight side. So don't duplicate the information. Casters usually don't have so much time, so make it as sharp but friendly as possible. And then you click down here. You probably all know this from the StagePool system, and your application goes. Sorry, I need to do a little jump step here. Comes in here. Okay, this is still StagePool system. You have to know before you're gonna end up, it's the Spotlight caster, like me and my colleagues will have a little look through, because we're working with top A casters here, like Spotlight does, and we want them to have the less time consuming applications, of course, people who really, really fit. So what we do, we have a little look through, see if everybody has the criteria that they need, especially like language skills. So if there's a request, you can see here, the English has to be mother tongue or like really, really good, like Anton has, he can come in to Spotlight system. And this is what we do. So therefore, it's really important that you only apply when somebody has to speak Russian. I think I just published something like this today. Please, you really have to speak Russian, and don't just say, yeah, but I apply anyway. Maybe the caster will remember my face. Well, imagine this scenario, you get invited to audition for that and you're Russian, you cannot speak Russian. This is the most embarrassing thing that could ever happen to you. So I cannot say it enough, because I'm an actress myself and I understand the need that you have to convince people to see you, but please only apply if it really fits. Okay, so that was the important thing for me. One more thing in your CV, when you apply and write a little introduction, please write it in English, because of course we are going to the English-speaking market, and German is, well, sometimes maybe a little, or Swedish, a little difficult to understand for the English-speaking casters. Just that you know, because sometimes I see really, really good introductions, but they're in German, and then I think, yeah, that might be a little tricky on the British Island, but you never know, of course. Okay, so far for me, because now I cannot do anything anymore, because now you're in the hands of Gary, and I will stop the screen sharing. Where did it go? What's happening now?
I think that Gary can take over the screen then.
Yeah, but I think I just stopped it also.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, I can share my screen now. So Ari's shown you what happens when a submission is made, so a response to a role that's been sent by a casting director on Spotlight. When that submission is sent over to us at Spotlight, it goes into the casting director's account, so they can see it and respond to it. So let me just share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is I'm signed into Spotlight as a casting director now, and we sent a few test breakdowns recently to Ari, so that she could show what happens when she makes submissions back to us. So as a casting director, the main things that casting directors do in here are search, or they send breakdowns, or they make lists in response to breakdowns, or lists from people that they've searched. There's lots of lists in most casting directors' accounts. So let me show you when I go into my breakdowns here. And breakdowns is the word that we really that we use for project briefs or casting briefs, role briefs. Breakdowns is the kind of the word that's used in English markets a lot. And when we go in here, we can see these are my folders that I've got set up. And here I've got my StagePool demo folder. And here's a few that I've created. I think we used this one, didn't we, last time, Ari?
Yes.
This is the one. There were 11.
We used the one with female somehow. You have lead female role. Yes, we used that one.
Yeah, this one here.
11. Yeah.
So as a casting director, the casting director can go in here and they can review the roles that they sent out, and then they can either view the suggestions that were made, or they can send another version of this breakdown. So maybe something wasn't quite right about the responses they received, or they want to send the breakdown out to a different distribution group, and they can send it again. In this instance, the casting director sent to Germany, which is the StagePool distribution, StagePool distribution option for Germany, and it would have gone on to Spotlight Network members and their agents within Germany. So when we go into view the submissions for that role and the suggestions for that role, this is what the casting director sees, and they'll see the people that have come across the StagePool members, Spotlight Network members. And the first role that I had on my breakdown was lead female role. I think I had a lead male role as well.
Yeah, you had.
So the casting director has a lot of control at this point, and the casting directors work in different ways. And some of them have assistants who work with them and who may look through all of the submissions, especially if it's a big, busy breakdown. There may be hundreds of submissions for a role, in which case an assistant might do a first kind of pass on those submissions and do the first review, and then they may mark the submissions who they think the casting director themselves might be interested in looking at. So in this instance here, I've got some suggestions for my lead female role, and I've marked a few as yes, no's, and maybes, which is typically what a lot of casting directors will do at this stage here. Excuse that. The casting director will see if you've written any notes. So those little notes that Ariane put alongside her submission, they come in here. So you can see here there's the start of that note, which has been sent by the performer or their agent. And the casting director can go in and expand that. And they get that little summary, that little introductory note to highlight why that performer is particularly suitable for the role. The casting director can also look at the picture that was been submitted alongside the suggestion, and they can obviously go in and have a look at that performer's profile. So I can click on Ari's name there, and her Spotlight profile will show. So then the casting director can look at all the information which is on the Spotlight profile, which includes all the credits, the training and skills. And if the casting director wants to go and look at the Ari's show reel, that's available on here, which is the link through to the StagePool profile. So here that will open up Ari's StagePool profile, and on here is other information, more information than is just on the Spotlight profile. So Ari's show reels and voice reels will be on here, and also her agent information. If she's represented by an agent, that will show on the StagePool profile. So just popping back into Spotlight here, let me go back into the
Just a short interruption, Gary, because of the agent thing. Maybe some of you might wonder, oh, I don't have an agent yet. That is not a problem. You can still apply, of course. And when the casting director from Spotlight are interested in you, they will contact either me here in the content team by StagePool or the Swedish content team, and we'll jump in as an agent for you. So you get definitely a note that you are interesting for a casting director. So don't you worry if you don't have an agent.
Yeah, very good point. And as I mentioned earlier on, a lot of the time casting directors make lists from these screens here because they get very, very busy. As I say, there could be hundreds of submissions for a particular role. So, a casting director, having reviewed these roles, may choose the ones that they want to potentially contact, potentially invite to do a self-tape. And then once they've got these suggested down here, they can make a list, so add to a short list, and then that gives them the ability to add them to one of their existing shortlists of performers, or to create a new shortlist relating to just this project and this breakdown. So really, this is the screen where all of the kind of the refinement of those submissions, and it's really a kind of inbox for those casting directors to receive all their submissions and then to refine them into the next stage of the process. And we just try to make it as fast and as easy for casting directors to manage the performers, but also we look to give the performer the opportunity to really kind of make an impact on that casting director as quickly as possible, because they're very busy, and the casting director may be looking at this screen very, very quickly. So the performer's choice of photo that they've responded with for that casting brief will be shown first of all on here, and there'll be a very obvious link to that performer's profile on Spotlight. The name is always a link to the profile. And where StagePool Germany is showing here, that's usually the agent information is shown there. But for Spotlight Network members, we show StagePool's contact information, and we show the relevant local office of StagePool here, so that the casting director, if they want to make contact with that performer, they go via StagePool to do that. It's either an email or a telephone number that we show here, and that gives the casting director the ability to speak to StagePool's English-speaking account managers. You know, that's one of the reasons why we're less keen on showing the agent details alongside Spotlight Network members, is maybe that agent doesn't have English-speaking people to answer the phone and answer emails to that casting director. So it's probably best that we show StagePool here, because we definitely know that StagePool has English-speaking operators to deal with the inquiries. All right, does that give you a quick overview of what happens to the breakdown once the casting director receives it again?
It does. I definitely, I'm a little smarter now, so it's really cool to actually see how the system works from the other side, I think, and for you guys as well. So this is basically the whole magic. So it's not really that complicated, of course, as we are like, our systems are totally synchronized. So when you do a change in your CV here at StagePool, it will automatically change on the Spotlight CV as well. I think this is really important too. So everything is synced together and is really working really fast. So, and also as soon as you apply, be assured that we will hear at StagePool also as soon as you have applied, send your application over. So it's you always on time, just that you know that. Okay, perfect. That was I mean, I just remind you guys, if you have questions, I think now the time is coming that you can type them into the Fragen and Antworten just down there on the screen, because I think in a couple of minutes we are coming to those. But perhaps, since this is like a general introduction how our systems work together, we could find a conclusion really for whom, like what do you have to actually enter Spotlight Network? I mean, we got, I think, language skill. I think English is a must in a way. How would you say, how good has to be your English in a way to actually become a Spotlight Network member?
I think it's obviously really useful if you do have a good rounded received pronunciation. I think it's probably more instructive for all actors, particularly international actors, to have voice reels, so that when casting directors are on an actor's profile, they're often pressed for time. They can just quickly hit a link and hear for themselves. Yeah. So, you know, the more skilled you are as a performer, and by skills I include accents, dialects, languages, put that all into a voice reel. And if you're going to have a show reel, which that is to be encouraged, of course, and we want to see you act in your native language. So just make sure it's all captioned, so that, you know, we can read and you know, understand what's going on within the scene. But help the casting directors out. I think, you know, really utilize your profile to its maximum. Yeah.
Nice, that is good. And what would you say about pictures? Like, I mean, I think we are also synced there, but I got beforehand, I got a couple of questions. Do I have to have special pictures for Spotlight? So do they?
We do kind of have an industry standard with the headshots over here. I think I mentioned this to you last time. I actually prefer European headshots.
Yeah, you did.
Something more interesting, more editorial, and you know, they kind of stand out. So when the casting director are looking at the suggestions of actors, you know, what is going to make the actor stand out? It's the photo. So, you know, yes, it has to be color, and it has to stand out and be interesting. So it has to look like the performer. And, you know, if the photographer is worth his or her salt, you know, they will have managed to have got some of that personality into the photograph. So long as it's well lit and it's professionally shot, then, you know, that is really what you need to bear in mind. And, you know, I think if you're prone to change your looks, then do always bear that in mind with the photo, because the photo is the thing. It's really, really important.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I mean, I would just also mention what we showed earlier on, like when you're responding to a breakdown from a casting director, you have the facility to choose a photo from your profile to send on. So you choose one of your portrait photos to send on. So, you know, if you can bear in mind what the role is and what that casting director is looking for, and then think about that screen that I showed where all the faces of the performers are shown in a kind of inbox like grid format, that's a real opportunity to put the photo that shows you as the best kind of professional for that role. And if it shows a side to you or a kind of a character that you do which is particularly suitable for that role, that's the opportunity to just grab the attention of the casting director when they first see you, and they, you know, when they've never heard of you before, they see that photo. That can be very, very powerful, I think, if it's chosen correctly.
Yeah, this is the same thing actually for when you apply on StagePool for jobs. It always helps if you fit the character they're looking for in your picture. But it still has to be you. So don't make too much makeup or anything, or wig. That is the wrong way. But just slightly,
Yeah.
you know, just slightly.
I think certainly for the main profile shot, it should be the photo that looks like you day in, day out on a good day. You know? And I think for the other photos, then, you know, in very sort of simple, nuanced ways, whether it be hair up, hair down, change of clothes, then, you know, how you present yourself can then, you know, present a suggestion to the casting director. You know, so, you know, if you wanted your your Royal Shakespeare Company, I know I'm keeping it very UK and I shouldn't, but if you wanted your Shakespeare shot, then, you know, you could have something quite earnest. If you did comedy, then you could have something a bit lighter, but it's not you in character. You shouldn't present character. It should be very, very subtle.
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. I would just now dive into the questions. First, I go into the Q&As and then I go into the chat, just that you guys know. Yeah, I'm not sure you can answer that, but we'll try. So, like, do the casters and directors in the UK know about like other like certain databases that because we are also like a breakdown service, as you say it, like a job portal, but there are other databases that like German casters use. Do the English casters use that too? Do you know?
Yeah, I think some probably do. Yeah, it will depend a lot on how often that casting director works within those markets and how often they need to recruit actors from Germany, and probably how much time they've got on that project, to be honest, because one of the things we always try to bear in mind when we're putting together our services is to sort of save everyone time and effort when they're very pressed for time. So some projects turn around very, very quickly, and the idea of having a large database of performers from many different countries all in one place, like on Spotlight, matters a lot then, I think, when casting directors are short on research time and they really need to get that breakdown out or do that search very, very quickly. Now, there'll be other casting directors who have a longer lead time on their project and who have a lot more time and maybe a lot more budget to go off and do some research locally and to look at local casting platforms and maybe recruit local assistants even and co-casting directors within the territories that are of interest to them. You know, that's probably one end of the spectrum versus the other end where time is very, very precious and they need to do a search very much now. And so I think it very much varies between casting directors, and I can see, you know, that I've read that question and it's a difficult one to answer. I think some casting directors will be very aware of all the different platforms and all the different ways of getting that brief out in the different countries. Others will prefer the convenience of everyone under one roof. A lot of the time, casting directors also prefer that even after they've made a list of performers and done a search or sent a breakdown, the idea of having everyone in one system so that they can be on one single shortlist to be sent on to the director or to the producer, or to be, you know, asked for a self-tape to be sent in or whatever. There's that kind of convenience factor, I think, and there's less friction about kind of having everyone on one system. And certainly when we put together Spotlight Network as an idea, we spoke to a lot of casting directors, and some of those casting directors were casting directors who were very much aware of how casting works in different countries, but they still all said to me that, you know, the problem is that there's no one single system that covers all of those countries. So the more convenient we can make it and the quicker we can make it to search for, you know, the best talent in those countries, the more attractive it is for everyone, really.
Well, the system is there now because we're having it. Basically, we just of course need to get everybody in. So if I may also give a short idea to that, I know for a fact that those platforms were used by mainly German speaking, including Austria, Switzerland, and Germany casters only. Also, the language is German. So the caster from the UK or all over the world has to be able to understand that the system is really built for this group within the countries. So I just wanted to say that because I know that.
Yeah, it is worth bearing in mind that the language skills of the average British person, not casting directors specifically, but British people in general, we don't speak many other languages, so presenting everything in English is always a handy thing.
Yeah, so perfect, of course. Cool. Then we got this. Oh yeah, I got that beforehand. So the like one member, she's having like a full Spotlight membership, and she's wondering whether there could be a synchronization actually between Spotlight Network membership and the full Spotlight membership, or does she have to have 2 accounts?
Well, they're kind of there'll be a lot of duplication. I mean, it's up to the performer, because there are certain benefits that you get with a full Spotlight membership that you don't get with a Spotlight Network membership. And that's particularly for those ones which are focused on UK actors. So some of the roles which are casting in the UK, maybe a quick turnaround, and performers kind of ideally need to be based in the UK, they may well go out to full Spotlight members and not to Spotlight Network members, just for practical reasons. There will also be events, like I was saying earlier on, and some of the membership support that we do in the UK, which is really focused on UK actors, which again, having a full Spotlight membership would give access to. But then there's a lot of duplication, obviously, if you maintain a Spotlight Network membership as well as a full Spotlight membership. And there's very few actors who would probably see the benefits from having both of those memberships. And as such, they're kind of 2 different membership categories, which are aimed at 2 subtly different groups of performers, really. And so, yes, there's a lot of overlap. But there are a few things that full Spotlight membership doesn't. There's stuff that full Spotlight membership offers that Spotlight Network membership doesn't. But they're normally for quite good reasons and for quite well thought through reasons, which suit the majority of the people who use the system, whether that's casting directors or the actors. Plus, of course, as I was saying, because Spotlight Network membership is a slightly reduced level of Spotlight access, it's priced accordingly. So full Spotlight membership is £158?
£158, that's correct.
Yeah. And so Spotlight Network membership is an €8 a month surcharge on your StagePool Premium Pro membership. So if you work that out, that means that the Spotlight element there is priced much lower than full Spotlight membership. So
I think you need to ask yourself the question, sorry Gary, that okay, can I do I live in the UK basically? And if you don't, then maybe the full Spotlight membership might be not the first choice for a start, unless you're going to choose to move there, perhaps. And also, I think the English skills you have, because I was, when I lived in England, and my English wasn't as good or kind of fluent as it is now, and I was always scared that I always have to play the role of Eva Braun because I'm German. I was like always scared, and people keep telling me that.
So other characters do exist, but yeah.
So I think this is like maybe the main question for you as an artist to ask you, whether you would like to join this or that membership. But of course, it's always up to you. And I also support to be as broad as possible if it benefits.
Yeah, and I would say, if you're in one of those, if you're in that small group of people who are trying to decide which is the best given their circumstances, then it's probably quite a good idea to email one of our customer support teams. Maybe the StagePool customer support team would be able to take a look at that performer's training and experience and talk to them about their ambition, and you could give some honest advice as to whether they're in the best category. It's probably very individual, I would have thought.
Yes. Cool. We have one more. I think you answered that before. What if you don't have an English show reel? What other alternatives do you recommend for showing your English language skills? And you said a voice reel, right?
A voice reel, yes. But when let me just get this right. So if you don't have any professional kind of footage or any footage, what I recommend, I mean, certainly kind of as a placeholder, as something as a temporary fix, to maybe self-tape a couple of talking heads, monologues. So at least we can see you on the screen and see you act. And what I would say there is, really choose wisely and try and get to the seat of your casting. So, it's well within what the casting director would consider you for. But, a couple of contrasting scenes is all you would really need. But, you know, if you don't have professional footage, so long as you're going to self-tape, you know, and it looks as professional as it can, then that for me, I think is a really good, useful thing to do.
Yeah, Emma, I think, I mean, I don't know if you've heard this, but I've certainly got the impression from casting directors that they're aware that it's been a difficult year and that it's been very difficult for performers to get showreel material in the last year because of the lack of production. So they're going to make allowances, aren't they, for the showreel material to be maybe, you know, self-recorded, or, you know, monologues and stuff that you can make yourself to put into your showreels. I think there is probably a special allowance this year for those circumstances. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. As I say, as a sort of temporary fix, you know, but ultimately to get something which is professional material is the aim. But, you know, I think a lot of casting directors that I've spoken to have said, you know, even if, you know, if you have nothing, if you don't have any professional footage, and let's face it, if you're trying to get the professional footage once filmed, it's a long wait often to try and get that from productions. So a lot of casting directors have said, you know, we don't care. Let's just see what you look like. You know, we want to see you act. So again, I think the emphasis is the importance of your choosing what material, you know, you're going to choose to do. So really think wisely there if you are going to do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Anna, this is one for us actually. Is it possible to apply, for example, for a German project from the Swedish StagePool side, if I can speak German perhaps?
Well, it depends on, you can always choose the flags on StagePool and just choose the country, and the matching jobs will then follow from that original site to like the Swedish site. But of course you can do that. You can apply from the Swedish site as well. That's no problem.
And the other way around, of course,
yes,
works the same
absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was an easy fix.
Yes.
What else do we have? Okay, just that, you know, we're not going to answer all questions, as some of them are good for actually our customer service, as I just saw, like about the pictures and how much makeup and etc. One more, maybe to Spotlight again. Does Spotlight also work with American productions?
Yes, we do. Picking up on what Gary said earlier, you know, the whole kind of casting collaboration, you know, it's a global market and a global industry. And, you know, we have several casting directors who are part of the Casting Society of America, the International Casting Directors Network. So we have all these various placed casting directors from around the world who will often collaborate with UK casting directors. And again, I think I said this last time, but Unorthodox, that was cast by an Israeli casting director and a UK casting director. So the work has become more and more internationalized over the last 10, 12 years, I would say.
We have, since it got in, I think 2 times about that. It's about the Brexit situation. I mean, we don't need to lean out there, but have you felt any affections? Because like for Scandinavian actors, it was asked, or for any actors really, that the Brexit actually that happened.
Yeah, it's a good question. And we're in such strange times at the moment with COVID, as well as Brexit. It's quite difficult to know what's a Brexit effect and what's a COVID effect at the moment, isn't it? But I heard this question asked to one of our casting directors recently on a panel for Berlinale, and she was saying that Brexit potentially does make things a little bit awkward because of visas and paperwork, but her view was that it was just a manageable little bit of extra administration that they need to do. Like if they want a particular actor, or they want to shortlist particular actors for roles, they'll find a way of getting round the requirements. Now, there may be more requirements to do with visas and work permits, but there are ways of dealing with that. So they're allowing a little bit of some casting directors are building a little bit of extra time into the process to manage that.
We have quite a few, we have about 3 or 4 articles on the news and advice page of our website about Brexit and actors, whether you're a UK actor wishing to work internationally or vice versa. So for all members in this chat, you know, have a look at the articles. You know, they're very sort of comprehensive. But yes, I think I did hear somewhere that it might be as simple as the ESTA visa that European actors can apply for, much like how when we go to America, you know, it's an online form. It's pretty inexpensive. It doesn't take too long. So, I mean, here's hoping that it will be something as simple as that.
Yeah, it's also I think you also kind of answered that, but from international agency, because you also invited agents as well, and due to COVID and everything we're just talking about, it was like everything went more to self-tapes. We all, I think, realized this within the industry. And did you fear or felt that also like castings, like live casting, that the productions were looking more for local based and not just for extras, but really for the main characters? Did you have a feeling that happened?
I think I've definitely heard from some casting directors that they've used they've seen a bizarre kind of opportunity in COVID to actually do a lot more self-taping and to discover actors from a much broader geography than they would have had they just had to use studios for casting. And so I definitely have heard a few say that they've kind of just taken that opportunity to deliberately look for actors from, you know, and to almost take their location out of the equation and to just look for the best talent wherever it is and invite them to self-tape and to use that kind of opportunity to discover.
But then,
would you agree, Em?
Yeah, I would, yeah. And you know, going back to the point that, you know, it has democratized, you know, how casting directors cast and where the actors are found. You know, you can be based, you know, anywhere up and down, you know, because it's all online, so it just facilitates the process much easier.
Yeah, I was talking earlier today actually to we work with a partner organization in Australia, and I was having a catch up with them today, and we were talking about just how busy the Australian production market is and how many opportunities our casting directors are sending to Australia and you know, vice versa, and how well Australian actors are doing in America, and you know, there's just, it's so globalized now. And I think self-tape, the one thing that's coming through from all of these conversations I have at the moment is how self-tape has become a facilitator, a real facilitator for talent and for talented performers to really kind of expose their talents to a much greater audience, and for casting directors to really discover talents from across the globe now. I mean, so much of the TV work particularly is international co-production now, isn't it? And it has, you know, and has casting teams working from around the globe on them, that the tools and the facilities that we provide them to really sort of very frictionless and very easily look for performers from across the globe is just, that's something which is very much live at the moment. That's something which is really used at the moment, and self-tape is just has changed everything. And I think even when studios are open again, and you know, using the example of Australia, where studios are very much open again and COVID restrictions are very much been eased there on the whole, still self-tape is a really important part of the process and always will be. And that is a real opportunity, I think, for actors who are not based within the big production cities of, you know, London or LA or any of those kind of cities around the world, which have got lots of productions and studios. It's that it possibly used to be a disadvantage not to be within kind of easy access of those centers of production. But I think self-tape is changing that, and self-tape means that casting directors really do reach beyond the boundaries now.
Yeah, I agree. I would we could just go back to the loop. But of course, all the jobs you see on Spotlight, or you see here with us, Spotlight Network, they are chosen to actually publish the jobs where you see it. So you can be sure, of course, that they are looking for you wherever you live, as long as you are living, of course, in, let's say, for StagePool in Scandinavian countries or German-speaking countries. So what you can do also for the other questions, we have some, are they also looking for in Eastern Europe or like all over the world in US? Yes, they do. But I think it's this question well, hook me up here, but I think we can divide this because as this is all cross productions really. So let's say it's an American production, but they're going to shoot in Praha or wherever. So it's all over the places. So yes, definitely they're going to be also projects in Eastern Europe. It's the same with the German market, of course. Like a lot of movies you see in German TV were shot all over the world. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of projects which have some kind of Eastern or Southeastern European angle to them now. Lots of movie projects, many more TV projects. There's been casting directors who have always used Spotlight for projects which are kind of going to be shooting in those areas. I think that's just going to get more and more the case in future. So yeah, whilst we don't have a Spotlight network partner like we have in StagePool, but we don't really have that for specifically Eastern Europe. But that doesn't mean that the Eastern European work and Eastern European actors aren't represented on Spotlight. I mean, you know, there's a good number of them, and the casting directors who tend to work in those areas over there do use Spotlight. We know that.
Yeah, and they use us as well because I see that they're looking like, for example, Polish-speaking actors or Russian-speaking actors. So you're really safe there. And now, as I look on the clock again, we are like 3 minutes before like 7 here and 6 in the UK. So for all the questions who are not answered yet, I think a lot of them you can take up with our customer service here at StagePool. So you be safe with that. We hope you had really informative and not so boring, of course, still it's so hot outside, webinar for you guys. We really enjoyed it, at least I did. Don't want to talk for you guys. And
we did.
Yes.
Agreed.
Amazing. And now there's nothing left actually for us to say. But goodbye. Have a lovely evening.
Yeah.
And if you have a question, always ask.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Hej då. Ha det så bra.
Cheers.
Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao.